cold mist clung to the Texas earth on December WWII, 1944, at 6:12 a.m. as the first truck growled through the iron gates of Camp Swift, its floodlights slicing through the fog and illuminating rows of exhausted German prisoners' boots crusted with Belgian mud coats, stiff with frost, eyes haunted by nights spent under Ardennes artillery. When the tailgate slammed down and the American sergeant barked rouse, the soldiers hesitated, remembering the chilling rumors of American brutality whispered across dark prison yards. Oberfrieder Hans Keller, just 23 but hardened by Kharkov, Kursk, and Normandy, stepped down first, unsettled not by threats but by the eerie calm. No barking dogs, no angry guards, only space and silence, and the impossible smell of fresh bread drifting through the cold air. As the column marched inward, Camp Swift emerged like an illusion. Wooden barracks lined neatly, watchtowers quiet, guards resting rifles casually over shoulders, one even nodding politely, as though welcoming guests rather than enemies. At the administration building, officers offered clean wool blankets and flatly explained processing procedures, the tone far from hostile. Then came the moment that cracked the first fracture in their fear. American clerks brought out steaming trays of breakfast eggs, coffee, biscuits, food richer than the Germans had seen in years. Keller watched prisoners entering the mess hall and returning wide-eyed, stunned, as if they'd stepped into a different reality. Inside, long tables, safety posters, baseball images, and even a glowing jukebox painted a surreal picture of American normalcy behind barbed wire. The cook serving eggs met each prisoner's gaze with quiet respect, murmuring, "Eat up, boys." Long trip, a kindness so disarming that Keller, his first bite nearly brought tears, reminding him of a life before frozen trenches and black bread. Once outside, the shocks continued. A pristine baseball field, prisoners laughing and kicking a ball under the watchful yet relaxed eyes of guards. An atmosphere more like a strange village than a POW camp. When an American lieutenant casually mentioned work assignments, an open library, recreation hours, and unbelievably, ice cream on Sundays, Keller felt his entire understanding of the enemy tilt on its axis. This place wasn't cruel. It wasn't even harsh. It was something else. Something that challenged everything he'd been taught about Americans. And yet, despite all the bewildering comfort he'd already seen, the greatest shock of Camp Swift was still waiting. Just around the next corner, ready to shatter every remaining expectation he and the others carried with them from the war-torn world they thought they understood, the sun climbed higher over Camp Swift, burning away the last wisps of morning fog as Keller and Voss followed a stocky MP with tattooed forearms past. Barracks that looked disturbingly normal windows, open laundry, fluttering men sweeping steps or chatting like residents of a quiet village rather than prisoners of war. At the end of the lane, a fenced complex appeared. White buildings, gardens, and even a chapel. And when Voss asked what it was, the MP casually replied that it was the education center, classes, workshops, language training, all open to POWs in 2 days. Keller stared at chalkboards labeled English for beginners, struggling to understand why captors would offer lessons instead of punishments. Inside the workshop, machines hummed while Germans, Italians, and Romanians worked steadily under a single indifferent American technician, the MP explaining that men with trades would get privileges, cigarettes, desserts, better barracks, drawing murmurs from the group. One POW with wire-rimmed glasses joked in perfect English, "Welcome to the land of opportunity." And though others chuckled, Keller only felt unease, because this strange civility unsettled him more than brutality ever had. Brutality he understood, but this felt like war rewritten. Then came the next shock, the Camp Swift library, a full building with shelves of novels, German classics, newspapers, radios, and even posted hours Sunday, closed for baseball. Even the books seemed to breathe abundance. A POW stepped out carrying novels like a student leaving a university, and Keller felt confusion seep into him. He had fought under a banner claiming to represent the pinnacle of civilization. Yet here in a camp of wooden walls and barbed wire, he saw more order, comfort, and confidence than many German towns. Before he could process the humiliation knotting inside him, the MP led them to the recreation field where the biggest shock yet waited. Not baseball this time, but dozens of posts holding gloves and bats, while eating ice cream cones under a striped canopy where a wooden cart read, Camp Swift Sunday ice cream courtesy of the U.S. Army. Prisoners cheered as a new batch was churned, running to line up like boys at a summer fair. Ice cream, here for captured soldiers who once fought for crumbs. Keller felt his world tilt violently too much, too strange, too generous. And then the MP delivered the final blow. Their group was being considered for a work detail outside the camp, with higher pay, better food, and the chance to work alongside American civilians. Outside the wire, the very America propaganda claimed was corrupt and collapsing. Keller stood frozen, heart pounding as the MP walked away, because he had expected punishment, deprivation, survival, not freedom. Not libraries, not ice cream, not a glimpse of a world Germany insisted was dying. And now, as that world unfolded before him, unsettling and undeniable, he felt a painful realization tightening around his chest. If everything he saw here was true, then what else had he been wrong about?